This is a true story. It's about a missed connection in Marquette, Friday, the 15th of September, 2022. And I was there working on some video editing and also, I think, a post for Medium. And I had just arrived with Macy in the car, and I had taken her out her breakfast, and I was getting to mine in the store, and there were people at the front counter who were waiting for their food. And I got up because I needed ketchup or napkins or something. So I walked from my table over toward the counter there, and standing waiting was this beautiful, beautiful brunette slash black haired woman. And she had smiling eyes, a wonderful smile, and that you get from people here in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. And so as I walked past her and I got past her, I turned and I said, "I like your shoes," because she was wearing black Converse shoes, capri blue jeans, and they were an exclamation point for what she was also wearing that day. And she was like, "Thank you so much. They make me feel young again." And, you know, I am all about that effervescent feeling of trying to feel young again, particularly with some of the ailments I'm dealing with. And so that appealed to me right away. Plus, she was just knocked out wonderfully pretty. And I know you're not just supposed to outright say that, but I mean, that's the bottom line. And so I got whatever, and I turned around and got toward where she was, and the conversation started, and it wasn't one of those, like if you remember seeing Zoe Deschanel in 500 Days of Summer when she got on the elevator with Tad, and they're playing later in the movie what was actually going through her head when she got on, and she's thinking, "Oh my God, don't talk to me, don't talk to me, don't talk to me." That wasn't going on here. And so we were having this wonderful conversation and about, so I asked her, I think I had got back to the table, and then I came back by because I had forgotten something else. And I didn't have to make up a reason to go. I would genuinely needed to pick something back up. And so I got to her, and she was doing one of these smiling, looking at you, big smile, over the chin, over the shoulder looks, like she was anticipating my next question or saying something herself. And so I launched in with probably, so like, how long have you lived here? And she said, "Well, I was born here, but I moved away, and it took me 5 years to claw my way back here." And I'm like, she said something about technology jobs, and I kind of mumbled about how, yeah, you can do those most anywhere now. But what I had already gone on to thinking was, wow, here is somebody else who has gone away from being here. And like I haven't really told you, but I lived here. My dad was stationed at KS3 Air Force Base 3 times. One in 69, we came back in 72, 73, and we went to Squadron Officer School in Montgomery, Alabama, the summer of 75, 76. And then we were back up here. That's the time when it snowed on September 1st. And my dad still thinks it still starts snowing on September 1st in the UP, even though that was like forever ago. So we left in 1978. And so it took her 35 years to claw her way back up here. And as you know about my struggle from this year, it's taken me 44 years to struggle to claw my way back up here to the UP of Michigan, where it was literally one of the best places to grow up I can imagine, and preferred from all the places we went to before and after coming here. So we're having that conversation, and somehow we get on to books, and I tell her that I'm writing a book about KI, and it's called the Voodoo Hill Explorer Club, and I explained to her it's about 4 boys who build a treehouse in the woods off base in the summer of 1977, and what they don't realize is that they've built it about 300 yards away or less from a visiting or a Soviet spy. And so she's like, wow, that's pretty intriguing. And so she says, I'm a very vociferous writer. And I'm like, well, I am too. Everybody, many of you watching previous channels or reading anything on donaldjclaxton.com can see that, because I've read some 150 novels in the past several years. And so I fall into the vociferous reading club just as much. And so I asked her if she'd read Otessa Moshfegh's latest book, and she didn't know who Otessa was, which was fine, because she told me she was reading a book called South of Superior by a woman named Ellen Airgood. And Ellen is apparently, Miss Airgood is a Upper Peninsula writer, and so she likes reading local books about the area. And so I kind of caught the name of the book, but it went by my head, because here am I talking to this beautiful woman. She's standing here before me. She's got light in her eyes, and they're dark, and she's got a big old smile, and we're having a genuinely wonderful conversation. We're talking about my book. I mean, things are happening here, and they're not, but they were, but they weren't. And so I think I had to come back by one more time, and we started talking about something else. And then I saw her go out to the car. It was raining Friday morning. And so that's part of what some of the details I'm about to tell you about are, why they are so important to the story. She had on the Converse shoes. I don't believe she had on socks. She had on capri blue jeans, but you couldn't see how high they went up, because she was also wearing a London Foggish tan overcoat, trench coat, raincoat, whichever one of those coat kinds you want to set on. She was wearing that, and on her ring finger, she wore a band, and on it was a round black jewel. I don't know if it was a diamond or a pearl or something else, but it was clearly not your traditional diamond or any other kind of ring I've ever seen, because it was black and it was shiny, and it was definitely on that finger. And I've since been looking on Google and Quora, and they both have numerous people who say that if a woman's wearing a ring on this finger and it's a black stone, it most likely doesn't mean anything. It's like where it fits on her hand. And there are also obviously dubious possibilities of, one, she's married, or has a big boyfriend who's bigger and, you know, like the bow hunk from 16 Candles, or she doesn't want to be bothered. But we were having a great conversation, and she got in her car and she left. But the two key identifiers there were the black Converse shoes, which started the conversation, and the mention of this book, South of Superior. And then she was also wearing the trench coat, And she went out and she got into a white car, and I didn't see it drive off because I got busy with my stuff and it was raining, and I was trying to also look at mine to make sure that, you know, water wasn't getting into the car, that I had the windows up. And that's the last I saw her. One other identifier is she finally got her food, and it was a caramel mocha and 2 other food items in a bag. Macy and I finished my work, or I got to a point of stopping an hour later or so, and so I got in the car, packed up all my stuff, got in the car, and I drove further into Marquette, Michigan, and I went to the Snowbound bookstore, which is, after going inside and talking to the lady clerk there, I found out it's basically the only bookstore that is in Marquette. There's no Barnes and Nobles, there's no Borders, there's no Books A Zillion, none of that. Your options are the Snowbound bookstore, or I guess Amazon. And I would think that if somebody's reading about local authors from the Upper Peninsula, we went in and we started looking around for books, fictional books by authors who are from the UP. And we got to the Ellen Airgood section, and the title they have is a newer book, and it says by the author of South of Superior. And I'm like, that's what she said. And so the woman started kind of, I'm sorry, but we're out of it. We don't have it. We can order it for you. Are you local? I'm like, not really, but... So finally I asked, how long would it take for you to get one here? She said, about a week. So I said, okay, my name's Donnie Claxton. Here's my phone number, blah, 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 blah. And I said, if this woman comes in, please tell her that I'm looking for her. I'd like to see her again. I'd like to meet her again and talk to her some more. So I left the bookstore, had the book on order, got back out here, or was on the way back out here, and almost to where the concrete ends the first time on 510 and onto the dirt road all the way out here. And the phone rings from a 906 phone number. 906 is the area code of the Upper Peninsula. And I answer the phone, and it's the man who was also at the bookstore, and he says, hey, you ordered South of Superior, right? And I'm like, yes. And we don't have it, but about 30 minutes ago, or a few minutes ago, somebody walked in with a used copy that's in mint condition, and it's signed. And he offered to put it on hold for me, and I said, it wasn't the lady who I'm describing who brought it in, was it? He laughed and chuckled, said, no, but we'll keep it here for you, and come get it. So yesterday, Saturday morning, about 10, 11 o'clock, Macy and I made it back over to the Snowbound bookstore in Marquette on 3rd Street. And I walked in, and the woman clerk nicely said, first thing she said was, have you found her? And I said, not yet. I bought me a copy of Ellen Airgood's South of Superior. I have it. I'm going to start reading it this afternoon. And it's, I even have a Snowbound bookstore bookmark to read it with. But it's autographed by Ellen Airgood, and it's to Anne, best wishes in all your endeavors. And the ink isn't brand new. This edition was printed in 2011. The last printed edition of this book, get this now, was May 1st, 2012, more than a decade ago. So on Friday morning at the McDonald's in Marquette, I'm standing talking to this very interesting musing lady about books. She mentions this one. I go to the only bookstore in Marquette to see if I can get a copy and read what she's reading, to see what that's about, and to read another UP author. I have some books from these folks up here, and they don't have the book. I order the book from them, and they call me 30 minutes later, and somebody has brought in this copy in mint condition. It's used, but it's in mint condition, and it's autographed by the author. So I am trying to find who this lady is. And if you live in Marquette, I missed this connection, but I'm sure hoping you could help me figure out who she is. I mean, how many women are running around in Marquette, Michigan with a black pearl, shiny black, marble-looking ring on their ring fingers, wearing Converse shoes, on a rainy day wearing tan trench coats, driving a white car, and going to work with a McDonald's caramel mocha coffee to drink. I can't figure in a town of 20,000 people that number is very high. So she's got to be pretty easy, I hope, to find. If you got an idea, let me know. Send me a message through the comments here on YouTube or Facebook, or over on the Medium post about this whole weird cosmic lineup. Kevin Costner in Field of Dreams talked about dealing with primal forces of nature. For writers, whenever we find a muse, you want to find your muse, and you want to get to know them and bounce ideas off of them and find the inspirational energy that they're putting off. And I tell you, this lady has it. So I would very much like to find you. I would meet you at McDonald's for another cup of coffee. Or better yet, I think sub rosa, one of my favorite terms, under the rose. It means a not highly publicized meeting where we show up with a coffee, or one of us brings the coffee and one of us brings the breakfast items, whatever you want to do. And we show up and we have a chat on the steps at the Snowbound bookstore in Marquette one morning before you have to go to work, or on a weekend morning before they open, or in the evening after they close one night, and just sit there and talk books, talk about writing and what we've learned, and stories about the Upper Peninsula, ones that I can maybe fold into stories that go forward. I've sent a copy of my Medium post to Ellen Airgood's Facebook page. I'm hoping to hear back from them and maybe get some help from them. I've asked the people at Snowbound Bookstore, still, if this woman comes in, please point her in my direction. And I'm connecting with other people in town and asking them to do the same. So I'm asking you to do the same as well. The odds of finding her and, having a wonderful conversation again are, I would say, fairly good. I mean, there's 20,000 people here. She's gonna stick out. The black ring alone is gonna make her stick out. So help me find her. Send her my way. Have her send me a message through Facebook. Send me a tweet at Donald J. Claxton. I use the same handle on Instagram. I have the front page torn up on donaldjclaxton.com right now, but the about forms, or the about page, still works. The contact page works, so she can message me through there. And if the internet wasn't such a creepy place, I'd even give out my phone number. But I'd like to meet you. I think of the two options of meeting, I prefer the steps of the Snowbound bookstore, far and above just meeting in the McDonald's. But that's your call. Maybe you can't for marital reasons, and I understand. Just tell me so I know. So I know. So thanks for watching. Please like this video, share it and share it and share it, please. And subscribe to my channel. It's growing, and I'm doing videos from tent camping out in the woods. My dog and I have been on my dad's land out here for 11 weeks now. We're looking at building a log cabin up on the ridge up here. I've been doing a lot of forestation and cleaning up of the property. It's been a while since any of us have been up here from the family, and some other folks have gotten things a little out of hand, and I'm trying to get them back in. So thanks for watching. We'll talk to you soon.